Hello there, I'm Toilale and I have been playing this game for a better part of 10 years, so I figured I'd give this YouTube thing a try. So this will basically be a gamecast of replay, much like you might have seen on Indrid's channel, but this will be more analytical and will go more in depth about my thought process in the game and the strategic side of the game. So I will also be pausing the game a lot to explain this, so if you want a smooth and casual 40k action video to relax with, then this probably isn't for you. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. So the theme of this video will be scout usage, since one complaint from new players that keeps popping up is that scouts are bad and that they do so little DPS despite being space marines and all that stuff. So here I'm gonna show you how scouts are balanced in the game and how to use them, and frankly why scouts having the same DPS as tactical marines would simply be game breaking. Okay, here we have the base stat comparison between scouts and tactical marines, and by the way these are from a retail wiki, but the base stats really haven't been touched in Elite, so it shouldn't matter in this case. So first we can see that scouts have much higher speed and sight radius, and now making good use of these two traits is really what allows scouts to shine especially in the early game. So because of the long sight, scouts can react to enemies before the enemies can react to them. And also because of their speed, they can easily get away from anything except sentinels and possibly jump troops in tier 1. So yes, the default scouts are really bad in a direct fight, but they're really good at capping the map and avoiding engagements, which is mainly how they should be used in the beginning. They can also harass lone melee squads with hit and run tactics, but then you need to be careful not to let the enemy squad get in melee range, because then they will get the melee charge, which will give them extra speed, and that will allow them to catch up with the scouts. Also in the early game against races that have a melee starting unit, so orcs, tyrannids, eldar and chaos, you usually want to get a fast shotgun as your first power purchase and pair up that scout with your tactical marines to guard them from melee squads, which is their early counter. And later in the game, upgrading your scouts with both shotguns and sergeant does allow them to function as a sort of a frontline unit, since they will have a reasonably good DPS and they will be tanky enough to not die to a breeze, since the sergeant adds a good amount of HP and he is also a last to die model. Also with both of these upgrades, the scouts will be extremely good lone capper units, since they can win 1v1 fights against a large variety of different units, while also still having their early game perks of high vision and speed, which allow them to avoid bad fights or just flee from them. And also the infiltration upgrade also complements the sergeant well, since this will allow the squad to land some sneak grenades for squad wipes, or to initiate big engagements especially against setup teams, to open up the enemy formation for your main force. And snipers is the last upgrade they have, which basically changes their role entirely and doesn't really complement their other upgrades particularly well. So usually when you get snipers you leave them without other upgrades and mainly use them for harassing enemy units. Also this video will not be focusing on sniper usage, since that's an entirely different subject and that deserves its own video. Okay, so in this particular game my game plan is to start with the cookie cutter 2 scout 1 tactical marine. But then I will be going for fast generators, and I'm planning to upgrade my both scouts with shotguns and sergeants, which is pretty heavy and you usually wouldn't get this many upgrades in tier 1, but since I'm not going for a devastator or assault marines, I can get away with it. Also I want to use the drop pod to get a second tactical marine squad as soon as possible, but it will usually be around the late tier 1 or early tier 2 when you can afford the global resource or the red resource cost for it. So leading off here, I'm going for an expansive capping, like I'm splitting my units. I'm gonna go both ways, try to cap both these contested power nodes, and I'm gonna pretty much ignore the whole middle. Whereas in a moment you'll see like he's going straight for his VP, then his hero is gonna go to middle. He wants their VP pressure early, and like some very good players really prefer this. They pretty much do this every game, but like personally I don't do it very much. I prefer to have these requisitions points capped early on, because most games really don't end with the VP victory. And also because if I like win the first engagement, then I want to be like capping the map afterwards, and it's much easier to like cap the middle. No matter where you win the first engagement, you will always be like within range of middle, whereas if you win the first fight around here, then it's really inconvenient to go back to capture this point. So if you go for the sides first, then this problem really doesn't exist. So my tacticals have now capped the middle, and I'm sending my first scout and tactical, the second scout and tactical to the middle, just so that they can react to either side of the map, because I don't really know where he is yet, and sooner or later we are gonna run into each other somewhere on the map. Okay, we have the first engagement coming up here, and here you see I'm already making use of the good side the scouts have. So I spotted them before he spotted me, which allowed me to get a little bit of distance between us, even though my reaction wasn't perfect here. Anyway, so he has two units here chasing one of mine, so I don't really wanna engage him head on, and especially with scouts, like they couldn't even win a 1v1 against the Dire Avengers. So my initial plan was to like run all the way around here to this side, maybe capture these points or help support this side. But since he stays around here with his Dire Avengers, I'm just deciding to stall him. I'm just gonna completely troll him around here, just run around this bad blocker and deny him. Because this early in the game, the time of the Dire Avengers is more important or more valuable than the time of the scouts. So this is actually a win for me if he keeps chasing me like this, because I'm stalling more valuable time out of him than he is of me. And also he got a little bit greedy out here with his hero. He started capping this point instead of helping deal with the scouts. Because if he had two units here with the Dire Avenger and the hero, he could have like gone from both sides of this short blocker here and forced off my scouts. Since he only used the one squad, like, I'm completely able to stall him here. He has no choice but to keep running circles around the shot blocker here. And also since he went all the way around here, this allows my scouts to actually like disengage in this direction. So they can do something useful again besides just stalling. They can now maybe capture these points. Okay, we are going to go a little bit back in time right now. So while this engagement was happening, like I knew he had his hero and his guardians here, so I expected his banshees to be here, and I was right. So I immediately sent my second scout over here, which already have a shotguns upgrading. My hero and my scout should together be able to deal with the banshees. You see, I get the shotguns just in time for the shotgun blast, get my hero in melee, and this fight is pretty much over. Like he could have maybe killed one scout there, but he didn't want to bleed more banshees since they're more expensive unit. So now my scouts are going to start capping points here to get rid of his natural points, while my hero is going right to help support this side. So while his hero is here capping, like my attacks engage her, so she can't like complete the capture. Also, like he decides to run straight into melee with me, which is perfect because I didn't want him to do the same thing to me that I did to him here, because he could have taken his hero over here to be really annoying and given me the same problem that I had over here. So right now, like I'm able to start pushing him here. My scouts are free to cap these 2 points back because I kept them in the play. Like if I had fought here and retreated, then I couldn't have pushed him at the same time as I'm capping these points. Like his guardians here cannot fight my tacticals and hero, so they have to start running back. This is also where many new players would simply retreat them, but what you want to do in this case, and pretty much always, is soft retreat. So you walk back instead of hitting the retreat button, because he has more units coming out of base here. So this allows him to regroup before the actual fight happens. Like his guardians lost 70 HP, so they're fine for this fight. And now he's regrouped, like he has enough to ward me off here. Also, I'm doing some backcapping here with the scouts, and he used the kinetic shot on my scouts here, and I'm actually very happy with that he used the kinetic shot here. Because the thing I'm afraid of here is his rangers using the kinetic shot on my tactical marines and knocking them on their asses, and then the banshees charging into melee the tacticals. But because he used it on the scouts, he can't now use it on my tacticals, and he has to pull back here. Like his banshees don't actually even have their aspect, which like I don't like it, he went for the second Rangers and he even has the aspect of the Avenger. Like I would prefer to go for the Banshee upgrade earlier in the game against Space Marines. Like right now, because he can't really engage my attacks with the Banshees because he doesn't have the speed from the aspect, or he doesn't have the kinetic shot from the Rangers to knock them over. So this fight is pretty much on for me. Like he doesn't really have any good answers to my Apothecary with the Sanguine Chainsaw here. So he has to basically focus fire him completely and allowing me to DPS him down with my 2 range squads here. So I'm deciding to use my scouts to apply even more map pressure here instead of fighting, and he's actually focusing them with one of his rangers, so that is helping me in the fight. And I have to use the shotgun blast there to save my hero, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so because I won 3 engagements in a row now, so the map is looking very red, and I'm applying even more map pressure here by getting the decap on the victory point. I don't really feel it's worth like capturing fully now, because 2-0 cap is almost as good as a full triple cap. And this is like an odd position because I only have 2 squads here, and he has a 4 squads plus hero coming out of base, so I can't really win a fight here. So normally the correct play here would be to fall back to the middle point basically, and wait for your like rest of your units here to come back and regroup. But since like I already pretty much have the entire map, I feel there's not much point in just falling back, because that will only concede ground. So instead I'm just gonna like stall him. I'm gonna maybe kill a generator here, maybe kill a few models, but basically I'm here to stall him. So I'm forcing him to fight me so that he can't just freely capture the map back. So I'm just gonna quickly fight him and then get away without losing much, but I'm not expecting to win this fight. And also here, he has 2 rangers, but he did not use a kinetic shot on my tacticals again, like I don't know why, and that is the reason why the Banshees got forced off so easily, because I could shoot them and approach like completely freely because he didn't knock me on my asses. And also this is where he actually gets the Ghost Helm. Like I don't know this yet, so this is basically this is a bad engagement for him with the 2 rangers. He doesn't want to shoot me from this close up because he's just gonna bleed. But what he does instead, like he accepts the losses of the ranger models and gets my scouts low, and then he uses the Ghost Helm, which does a ton of damage on a single target. So he tries to get the squad low first and then use the Ghost Helm to snipe them. So snipe the whole squad, and it almost works because like they drop to very low, but because the leader is last to die model, so like the squad still has 2 models at 10 HP, so the last sniper shot doesn't finish off the squad since it still had 2 models, so I got really lucky over there. And he used the surprise factor from getting the Ghost Helm really well. And here we see again the shotguns really complementing the tacticals, saving them from melee. And here again, like I don't have a flamer, so I don't think I'll be able to bash these generators since he has more squads coming out of base pretty soon. So instead I'm gonna go after this squad here. Like I'm gonna force them off so they cannot capture the map back. This is to keep up the map pressure here. So like I'm holding on to my map advantage here, and I'm not trying to push my advantage by going for the generators, because I don't think that's gonna succeed at this moment. So he sees me coming, catching cover, trying to whittle down my scouts a little bit here before he retreats. So I actually throw my grenade here just to force him to move so he can shoot my scouts so that I don't lose so much HP. But really this grenade is only to dislocate him, and it's not expected to hit. And he throws his grenades hoping for a lucky hit, I guess, and then retreats. So this is where I get a little bit greedy. Like I stay with my tacticals to capture the point, while I push forward with the rest of my units, and I am at the squad disadvantage here. But I am planning to use the drop pod right here to get another squad, but even so, like my Apothecary here gets completely focused down, and this is not really what you want to happen with the Apothecary. And also he actually gets the kill with the Ghost Helm here on the Apothecary, and this is really my mistake because he no longer has the surprise factor on the Ghost Helm. So I really should have seen this coming and not let my hero get so low where he can be sniped with the Ghost Helm. But anyway, I'm like I do win this engagement eventually, and I'm able to keep up the map pressure. And also, like, I did capture this point, so it has and I think this has a decent chance of maturing. Like, the requisition points mature up to +30 with a little bit of time. They start at +10, and since I'm so dominant on map control here and I'm pressuring him back to his base, basically, I don't think he's gonna be able to capture his points back like anytime soon. And I actually forced melee with my tacticals, but I clicked the bush instead of the units, so they are now meleeing the bush there. Good job. So I don't want to fight him like in front of his base here, so I fall back to around this shot blocker where the rangers can shoot me. Also I have the drop pod here which provides reinforcements here, so I'm able to like reinforce out of it. And also at this point I'm not so afraid to lose squad models against the rangers because they can just reinforce off here, so it's not so devastating to lose models. And again I'm getting the decap, but not like bothering to get the full cap here, because I don't have the time for it really, and also it takes so much longer to capture points than decap. And here he leads off with his banshees, like again against 3 ranged squads, and I even have the shotgun blast here. And he doesn't use the kinetic shot to knock over my units. I was completely blocked up here, so he really should have used the kinetic here. And here I'm being a little bit stupid again. I'm letting my squad get so low when I know he has the mind helm. Like I'm in my mind I'm keeping so good track of his kinetic shots, but I'm not keeping in mind that mind helm, and it actually gets the squad wipe on me. But his units do get melted down by my double tacticals here, so I'm still keeping up the pressure. And I actually did have the time to fully capture this point. Now I'm gonna split out my squad so they cannot be knocked down by a single kinetic shot. I'm going for some chain passing here. I don't think I'll be able to get the full farm. Chill or 2 maybe. You can see here he has a plan. He's dropped the Farseer gate so he can infiltrate his full army. And since my scouts are the furthest back unit, I can't actually detect him until they get very close here. So he should finally be able to get his banshees in the fight without being completely shot down on approach. But I do still have the shotgun blast here complementing my attacks really well and supporting them. So they do save me from the banshees, although they do get very low and they have to get out now. But he does have a squad advantage here, and also my squads have been whittled down in previous fight. But also this is like, even though like I'm losing this fight, but basically this is still a really good result for me because I've killed so many units here. He's bleeding, he doesn't have the requisition to like completely out-resource it. Also, this special is so bad for me because now his guardians are in perfect position for a retreat grenade here. They do split up a little bit here, so they're not gonna get completely wiped, and also I used the heal there just to be safe. But he actually has to focus down on the VP now, just to not completely bleed out of VPs. And he's using the Mind War on the APO now, but he's barely taking any damage when he's healing with the Sanguine Chainsaw. Here the Banshees come for him. And I actually decide to try what's gonna happen. I'm gonna stop upgrading the Purification Rites, and I'll try to hold off on healing him until this completes. And the Banshees actually help me a little bit here. They knock him over with the special so all the models couldn't hit him. This gives me a little bit like the extra few seconds that allow me to finish the upgrade. And I get the knockback on him. He actually has to retreat his Banshees here. Although my APO really should get out now. He's overstaying his welcome. Like I have some lone scouts here again capping the map, and when they are fully upgraded like this, it's really difficult to side cap anything because the scouts will always be there. They're really fast. They can get around. Also with all their upgrades, they can beat any of his units in 1v1. Well, except the Falcon, of course, but any of his infantry units. So it's really difficult for him to side cap anything now. So he has to basically push to mid, try to force me off. He's so desperate about VPs, he actually rushes in his guardians early on and gets shot down, but he can get inside the Falcon though. And also, like, this is a very common scenario, like where a vehicle comes out and you don't have any AV, and many people will just retreat here. That's the correct play here, is to split up first to like focus its attention. But also I'm going for the generators to basically force him to follow me, so that he cannot use his Falcon to do anything useful. Like, I don't have missile launchers, I cannot do anything to the Falcon, but I'm still gonna force him to follow me because I'm gonna shoot the gens, so that he cannot push my gens with his uncontested vehicle.
Prepare to lead your sisters.
He actually comes out of the Falcon for some reason, so that allows me to bleed him even more. And the grenade is not gonna hit at this distance, so it doesn't matter. Also on this side, the Banshees are actually getting some light gen gap bashing going on. And by the way, I'm going for a Predator here, but in a normal, more even game, like, you wouldn't just completely skip a tier 2 and go straight to tier 3, so like, I was so much ahead that I was actually able to just buy whatever the hell I wanted, so I went tier 3, but I wouldn't do this in a more even game. So here I only have my scouts around the base now, but I think they can help me, like, save at least some of my generators. Like, I can't beat the fully upgraded Banshees, but I can stall them, so I'm gonna shotgun blast first to like force him to focus me. Then I'm gonna start running and I'm gonna drop the grenade at my feet when he gets really close. This is a very common strategy you do against melee units with the grenades, and it hits like 4 units, 4 models there. So I'm just gonna retreat then because the base is right here, so I don't really need to worry about the retreat distance. It doesn't take long at all to get back. Yeah, so at this point the game is basically over, so nothing can touch my Predator, and I'm just gonna chase down the Falcon and close the game. And he tries to use the kinetic shot to stop me from capping, and because I'm not paying attention it actually works, I should just continue to cap here. So here he goes for the desperation play, which is to put down the autark to stop the cap when VPs are this close. And also, like, he started capping for half a second, and that completely denied the progress I had on on the VP, capping it. So that is a strategy you can use, like in these situations when you're so close on VPs. You can like knock off the capping unit, then start capping for half a second, and you completely deny the progress. Like, this is also very useful against safety heroes like Spider and Mepoy that just want to push up and capture the map early on. If you have a melee hero and you can knock them in their aces, then you start capping for half a second, like you completely deny their progress. Well, anyway, that's the game, so I hope you liked this, and tell me if you'd like to see more of this, so thanks and peace out.